All right. Hey, welcome back to the Fantasy 15. We're your source for fantasy football. It's time for the NFL Week 10. And we're going to take a look at our top 15 charts all in 15 minutes for you to make sure that you have all your NFL picks ready for hopefully making your NFL fantasy football playoffs in Week 15. I do have some exciting things to cover with you today. And also, the very first thing that I want to cover is our top 15 charts. So let's go ahead, start the clock. All right, taking a look at our week 10 schedule this week. We got the Las Vegas Raiders facing off at Denver on Thursday Night Football. Now, the Raiders, they had a big week offensively to Brock Bowers. He had 3 touchdowns with 127 yards, but now you're going against the Denver Bronco defense. So we'll see what that looks like. Right now, Denver's favored by 9.5 in this game. Bo Nix has, kind of been a boomer bust type quarterback. I do like Denver at home in this game. And we can't forget that the Raiders just traded away Jacoby Myers as well, too. So they lose another weapon, and you're going against Denver. It doesn't look favorable for them. I'm taking the Broncos. Falcons at the Colts. Colts bolster their defense again with the trade deadline. They go and get Sauce Gardner. It cost them 2 first-round picks, and they also give up Adonai Mitchell. So Atlanta Falcons, not what you want to see, especially if your name is Drake London or Michael Penix. But that's going to be a tough defensive matchup. I like the Colts at home. Again, getting and adding Sauce Gardner to that defense. Giants at the Bears. Bears blew up offensively. Now, they were going against the Cincinnati Bengals last week, but I do like the Bears are starting to click, but there's some rumblings, some weird stuff going on with Romeo Odunze's dad. And he's tweeting that, hey, they're not getting my kid the ball enough. Typical dad, right? So that's kind of some weird social media drama, but we'll see if that picks up. But they scored 47 points last week. So no problem putting up the points. I like the Chicago Bears at home versus the Giants. Bills at Miami. I think that's going to be a total blowout. Miami got rid of some pieces at the deadline. Jalen Phillips is no longer on that team. I like the Bills. They were cooking last week. Ravens at the Minnesota Vikings. That's a tough matchup. I'll have to go back to that here real quick. Sorry about that. I do want to cover this before I get into the rest of my picks here. Browns at the New York Jets. I do like the Browns versus the Jets. It's not a good matchup going against that defense if you're Justin Fields. Give me the Browns at the Jets. Patriots at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the Patriots at the Bucks. Tampa Bay is favored by 2.5 at home. I like the Patriots cooking in this one. Saints at Panthers. Give me the Panthers and Rico Dowdle all day. Jaguars at Texans. There's going to be no CJ Stroud in this, so it's going to be David Mills show. I like the Jags in this one. Cardinals at Seahawks. Could be, this is a crazy one. So we'll talk more about the Kyler Murray thing, but Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starting quarterback at Seattle. Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdowns last week. Give me Seattle at home. Rams at the Niners. This was just a knockout fight type of, I want to say, a week 5 matchup that they had. Rams at the 49ers last time that they met. I think it's going to be explosive again, divisional rival, but I'm liking the Rams at the 49ers in this one. Big game from Matt Stafford in this one. Lions at Commanders. Commanders are hurting right now. No Jane Daniels. Who else did they lose last week? Possibly Luke McCaffrey in that one, who's also down. And I want to say they lost one more player that I can't think of off the top of my head, but give me the Lions. I think that they bounce back after that loss to Minnesota. Pittsburgh at the Chargers. This could be kind of a crazy matchup here. I do like the Chargers at home in this one, but look out for the Steelers. This is one I want to stay away from if I'm betting in a game. Eagles, Packers. It's at Green Bay, but we all saw what Carolina did to them last week. They lost Tucker Kraft. I like the Eagles in that one. Give me them on Monday Night Football. All right. Getting into our top 15 picks that we have at quarterback. My number one quarterback that I like this week, I already mentioned it. Matt Stafford is who I like in this one. Matt Stafford is going against a San Francisco 49ers defense that's hurting a little bit. Uh, I apologize. Man, I I picked Josh Allen in this one, but I like Matt Stafford for my ultimate lineup, which we'll get to. Josh Allen at Miami. I apologize. Josh Allen went off last week. He had 1 touchdown throwing, but he had 2 running touchdowns in this one. I do like Jared Goff at Washington, Matt Stafford at San Francisco. Justin Herbert versus Pittsburgh. I just think that that's gonna be a high scoring game between Pittsburgh. I think neither defense is really gonna be that great in that one. I do like Jalen Hurts at Green Bay. Um, it's a good defense, but still, Jalen Hurts always finds a way. Yes, Lamar Jackson's on my list at Minnesota. Caleb Williams at the New York Jet or New York Giants, and then Drake May is my top 8. I do think that a sneaky pick on here could be uh, Jones versus Atlanta. Now, again, they both strip the defense a little bit. Atlanta's one of those teams where it's a Jekyll and Hyde type thing. And just Jones could be one that lights it up. Mayfield likes to have his games against New England too, but I just think that this is one of those games where maybe Mayfield isn't the star, but May is. Bo Nix at Las Vegas again. He's just too Jekyll and Hyde for me to put him really high on my list. I think if Bo Nix had some more consistency to his game, and it just seems like that offense sometimes when it's going and it's cooking, Bo Nix is hot. He's a high fantasy point scorer. But when he's not able to get the ball, for some reason he's not able to get the ball to Cortland Sutton, or the Franklin bit's not working, Bo Nix is really limited in what he can and can't do. So I know he's going against Las Vegas, and Las Vegas has been giving up quite a few points this year, but that's just one that I would stay away from. Circle back to number 9, Sam Darnold. He had 4 touchdown passes last week, and he's going against the Arizona defense that really limited Dak Prescott. So watch out for that matchup. I do like that they add Rashid Shaheed as well to the mix, but possibly no Cooper Cup again this week. But I do like him again in that matchup. Going to my top 15 running backs, I like Christian McCaffrey. And this is one where I kind of went back and forth as far as, was Cook number 1, was McCaffrey number 1, or was Rico Dowdle? So that's really interchangeable to me. The big thing that sets Christian McCaffrey apart is just the receptions and what he can do in the receiving game. If you take a look at Cook, um, he's kind of a touchdown dependent. Now, I think he's going to get into the end zone versus Miami. I do. And I think he's going to run it up over 100 yards in that game. But he is one where he doesn't get a whole lot of catches out of the backfield. So he is really kind of a touchdown dependent blow up type running back. I do like Rico Dowdle versus New Orleans, and then Jonathan Taylor versus Atlanta. Atlanta's defense can sometimes be good on the run. So again, Taylor, we'll see what it is. I just wasn't comfortable enough to put him at the top, even though he is that top rusher as far as rushing yards go this year in the league, and touchdowns. A-Chain versus Buffalo, that could be one of those matchups where they're playing catch up, so you may get a lot of receptions in that game. Robinson versus Indiana, this could just be a weird game versus Indiana. I just really like how they bolstered their defense. Could be a weird one for them. A lot of 3 and outs maybe in that game. Quinshon Judkins. Now, the Jets just gutted their defense. So that could be one. Man, I don't know why that clock likes to do that. That's not quite time. But Quinshon Judkins versus the Jets, that's something to look for. I think he's going to have a big game, and I think he's sitting on a huge one. Monangai, if Swift doesn't go, he's one to watch at number 11 versus the Giants. And, they were on a bye last week, but does Saquon have another back-to-back good game? I just don't feel comfortable enough to say so at Green Bay. So that's one where, I'd like to see more before I start trusting him to put him higher on my list. I do like at number 10, Travis Etienne. Even though he's going against a tough Houston Texans defense, I do like him in that one. So he's somebody to keep an eye out on your charts that I think will have a good week. So Gibbs, we'll see. He kind of got shut out last week and almost benched for Montgomery because of his pass blocking. Number one on my top 15 wide receiver chart, none other than Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, Jackson Smith and Jigba had a good week. He had 8 receptions, 129 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, but I think he's just every week he's going to get those receptions. He's going to get those targets. So he's my number one, followed by Puka Nakua. Hopefully, if he's healthy, going against San Fran. Um, you know, St. Brown at Washington. I think he's that offense kind of revolves around him. Jalen Waddle could be sitting on a monster game. I have him at number 4, maybe a little underrated. One of those games where they're going to have to pass a lot, and I think Waddle's going to get a ton of targets. We'll see what he does with them. I do like Justin Jefferson versus Baltimore, McConkey. Now, Devontae Adams, I like Devontae a lot more if Puka Nakua is not playing or limited. Man, I hate that clock. I'm going to have to take that out. Metcalf. At the Chargers, this feels like one of those games where Metcalf's at least going to get into the end zone on it. Marvin Harrison Jr., he showed us a lot last week, so we'll have to see what that looks like. Chris Olave, man, no Rashid Shaheed, so he's for sure going to get some targets at Carolina from Tyler Shue. I like McMillan as well. Drake London had a huge game last week, but now you're going against Indianapolis, who just added Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner is, you know, he's a stud at corner. Now, PFF only has him ranked as the number 34 corner in all the league, but he isn't really getting a whole lot of looks. Quarterbacks are really staying away from his direction altogether. Cortland Sutton versus Las Vegas. I like the matchup, but again, just for some reason, sometimes when Bo Nix is on, Cortland Sutton's one of the best fantasy players out there. But when he's not on, he's not somebody that you want to really have on your team. 15, I have him out here just because, he really put up a terrible game fantasy wise last week. But Romeo Dunze versus the Giants, I think with all the complaining that's going on, whether it be his dad that's saying, "Hey, my kid's not getting enough playing time," um, I think it works. I think it works. I think Rome is going to get the ball in this one against the Giants, and possibly, I possibly have him too low. So we'll see. Brock Bowers is my number one top 15 tight end chart, and Ryan probably loves this right now. But so the weird one is he's facing the Denver Broncos, but they just lost Jacoby Myers. So does that mean he gets even more targets? We'll see. He had 3 touchdowns, like I said, 127 yards. Trey McBride comes in at number 2. I got Tyler Warren at number 3 versus Atlanta. I still like Gadsden from the Chargers, especially in one that I think is going to be a high scoring game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sam Laporte at Washington. Zach Ertz seemingly is getting a lot of catches, and in a game that they're possibly playing catch up, Mariota's probably thrown to Ertz a lot in this game. So I really like him as well. We saw Mark Andrews really come alive last week. I really think that he is going to be. We've seen tight ends hurt the Vikings. So I think Mark Andrews has a decent game here from Lamar Jackson. He's targeted a lot. Dalton Kincaid went over 100 yards last week. I don't know if he quite does that versus Miami. The Miami game kind of feels like, they're one of the worst run defense teams in the league. So it just feels like a James Cook game to me. I like Goddard versus Green Bay. Loveland had a good game last week. Luke Musgrave, no Tucker Kraft. This is just kind of a gamble. He had 3 catches last week. I think he kind of fills in for that Tucker Kraft role. I don't think he's going to get maybe as many targets, but I like Luke Musgrave filling in. Fannin Jr., yes, Njoku didn't get traded, but Fannin Jr., he just finds a way to get catches in that offense. And again, I talked about Pittsburgh and the Chargers possibly being a high scoring game. So for that reason, I like Pat Fryermuth. He's usually good for a touchdown in games like this. So he's one that I like to take in that one. For my top 15 kicker chart, these are always toss-ups. You gotta kinda look for the different matchups where you think, good kickers have the opportunity to kick field goals, and I said I already like the Chargers in Pittsburgh, so I'm gonna go with Cam Dicker. Last week, he had a couple field goals, 3 extra points. I like him in this one. That being said, I also like Boswell for Pittsburgh going against the Chargers. Just one of those games where I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunities. Chase McLaughlin's on my list for Tampa Bay. I like Eddie Pinheiro. I think he had 4 field goals last time they faced the Rams, so I like Pinheiro. Jake Bates at Washington, Prater at Miami, Myers versus Arizona again. All games where I think those teams are gonna put up points and have opportunities to score. I do like, Tyler Loop. I do like Will Reichard, and you can't he's at number 15, and just because this is a weird game, um, against Houston, Cam Little, I mean, he hit a 68-yard field goal last week. Just amazing. I mean, he's the one that hit the 70-yarder in preseason. Uh, you know, at some point, he's gonna get an opportunity. He's probably gonna hit a 70-yarder. He had plenty of room on that 68-yarder. On my top 15 defensive chart, I got the Browns at the New York Jets. Now, this was a tough one between the Broncos, but you know they're going against the Raiders. The Broncos are, and last week they kind of figured it out. Gino decided, hey, Brock Bowers is the guy. I'm just going to keep slinging it to him, and it almost worked. It almost worked last week. They still got beat by the Jaguars, but it almost worked. Uh, but in this one, it just feels like a game where the Browns are going to sack the heck out of Justin Fields a lot. So yes, I know Justin Fields put up a lot of points the other week, but this just feels like a team that's kind of defeated. Brees Hall wanted to leave. Is he even playing this week with what happened on social media? We'll talk more about that later. But Lions at Washington, I like that. Everybody's hurt on Washington. No Jaden Daniels, so Mariota's back in again. I like the Panthers at New Orleans. Bills at Miami's good. Oh, excuse me. Jaguars at Houston. Again, Davis Mills is starting that game. Seahawks at Arizona. I think again could be a weird one for at number 10. Colts versus Atlanta could be one to watch. Where I think that could be one where just Jekyll and Hyde game for Atlanta, and maybe they regress against that revamped Colts defense. And then, it could be the same thing at number 13. Jets could have a decent week against Cleveland. The only thing I think is they kind of gutted part of their defense. And even though it's Dylan Gabriel back there, they do have Quinshon Judkins. Ravens at Minnesota, and of course the Falcons at Indianapolis. So that wraps up my top 15 charts. Let's see if we can actually do this the right way with the clock this time. All right, clock, you finally worked the right way this time. All right, that being said, that was my top 15 charts for this week. Now, I want to welcome not my guest, but my co-host to the show, Ryan Jones. Ryan, how are we doing?
Good. I've been promoted.
You've been promoted. So I kind of talked to Ryan before we came on here. I joke that we're like peanut butter and jelly of fantasy football. We have a good vibe going. We're simpatico in that sense. Ryan and I, it's kind of funny, and we'll get into it, but we kind of thinking like each other in certain ways, which really makes our ultimate lineup super difficult because we're trying to outsmart the other one. We know what the other one's going to do in a lot of these drafts, so it really is making it more and more interesting, exciting,
Yeah,
and
it's not
difficult all at the
just
same time.
it's not just drafting the right guy. It's like strategically planning on who I know you're going to take next and basing the
Absolutely,
draft on that.
absolutely. So, now, before we get into this, we do have some questions that I'm already getting already. Now, during the show, if you have any sit, start, trade type questions, make sure that you go ahead and you hit us up. I do want you to make sure that you follow us on social media. We are at Fantasy 15 FB on X, but you can go ahead and use our link tree that's on the ticker below, and you can go ahead and get our links for all of our X, YouTube, and again, We are also on Spotify, and then I think after this, I might even mess around and try to make some TikToks after this one as well too. But we're also on TikTok and going to try to get that started up as well. So go ahead and follow us. But again, if you have any comments and you're on X or you're on YouTube, go ahead and send those our way. So I got some already. And the very first one I'm going to bring up is Alex Flores. Alex Flores wants to ask, should I trade away Derrick Henry for J.K. Dobbins and A.J. Brown in a PPR league? What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, I like Derrick Henry down the stretch. As the weather gets colder and Baltimore's an outside team, they're just going to be pounding the rock.
And Lamar Jackson's back.
And Lamar's back, so that offense is going to be much more dynamic, and it'll open up running lanes for Derrick Henry. So I don't know. I wouldn't do it right now. The Eagles are a very, very run-heavy team at this point as well. I don't think that's going to change at all. AJ Brown has shown his displeasure for the way the offense is going. So I think he'll have a big week this week just so that they, keep him happy or whatever. But I think overall, I kind of like Derrick Henry to lead you through the playoffs.
I like Derrick Henry too. I mean, I'm just not sold on J.K. Dobbins, and they've been giving R.J. Harvey more opportunities in Denver as well. And it kind of seems like he's getting more and more of a role every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then A.J. Brown, I like A.J. Brown, but, he was rumored in trade talks. You got Jalen Hurts he's had a couple of weeks where he's targeted A.J. Brown, but you got to remember in that game where he had 100 against the Vikings, where he had a couple touchdowns, 120 yards, he only had 6 catches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's getting peppered like some of these wide receivers for 13 targets.
It was deep bombs too. I mean,
deep bombs, right?
That's what Jalen Hurts can throw, the deep ball, but outside of that, if you need a 15-yard out, it's not the quarterback I would rely on.
Yeah, so I too like Derrick Henry. I would stay with Derrick Henry if this is the scenario, Alex. Thank you. What else we got here? Jason Ruiz on YouTube says, should I trade away A-Chain and Odunze for Lamar and Dobbins? He has Drake May as his starter currently, and he's got Cook and JT as starting running backs. Man. Well, you probably have a flex position. I actually like Drake May as a starter. I mean, yeah, it's great having Lamar. Now, if you gave me Lamar and Drake, I'm probably going to choose Lamar, of course. But what I will say is you probably have flex position, and I love AJ. And I love what he gives you every week. And Odunze, I think, is still valuable. I just think, I don't know, they're going through a weird phase, especially just down the stretch. I think he's doing some complaining. I think he's going to get more targets. I think they're going to get that fixed. I don't like Dobbins. So that's a weird one for me.
I mean, I like Dobbins as a player. I like his game and all. The way that Denver uses their running back situation in fantasy, absolutely. I don't love him. A-Chain is just a usage monster. He touches the ball just as much, if not more, than every other running back in the NFL. So it's hard to trade that away. A 3-headed running back and Jonathan Taylor, Cook, and A-Chain.
Love it.
Going into the playoffs, that's going to be really, really difficult to beat. I understand the value that Lamar brings, but Drake May has been, at times even considered MVP candidate as well. So I think you stick status quo, especially, again, as the months roll on, the running game becomes even more and more important. And like, God forbid, one of those 3 running backs gets hurt, and then you're kind of SOL if you don't, if you're down to just one guy, if you trade away A-Chain. So you'll have to find someone else or pick up his replacement and then start 3 receivers. So I don't know. I would stick with what you got.
Yeah, I like that 3-headed monster of running backs. I think that's a bunch of really big point monsters that you
Yeah.
have on your team. Drake May is going to get his, and I just think that the value that Lamar brings over Drake isn't big enough to make up
Yeah.
for what A Chain would bring you compared to Dobbins.
Yeah, like when you really break it down, like think of what's the point, like you're saying, what's the point difference weekly between Lamar and Drake May? And then flip it,
Mhm.
what's the point difference between Achane and Dobbins? Like I promise you, you're if you go by average points, you're probably losing out there.
Yeah, I think so too. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Next one we got Brian Seven says Ty or Ray if Cook is out. Now I did see that Cook is questionable, but I don't think he's really truly in jeopardy of playing. But I did see that he is
I don't know, man. It's a high ankle, so
yeah, it says
soft
ankle
benching.
injury, but yeah, I don't think anyone's soft benching James Cook, but I don't know. They said ankle injury. I didn't really
Yeah,
see anything during the game, so
they. I
I don't
saw
know.
a video of it. It
Some
looked
don't.
high.
Oh, okay. Well, some to watch then. I mean, I didn't think that that was a big thing, but
Yeah,
Ty or Ray if Cook
yeah.
is
Ty
out.
Johnson or Ray Davis. I have James Cook in one of my leagues, actually in two of my leagues, but um based on last week, I picked up Ty Johnson, thinking that he'll probably get the workload. I do think they'll probably split it up though, but I'm thinking Ty Johnson will probably get most of the work
Yeah,
if Cook's out.
and Brian says he is the leading Ty,
Yeah,
but we'll see.
leaning Ty.
Now the other one, Tim White says, "What's the identity?" I'm not sure which message he was messaging from or which team he's talking to. So Tim, if you want to elaborate on that, we'll go ahead and answer that question as well. So again, if more of you have questions, go ahead, bring those to us. So if you have comments or questions, just send them our way. We'll answer them live. Um, Let me just go ahead and put that in the chat. We'll save that and we'll tick that. All right. Next thing. Oh, I think Tim might have maybe. Oh, it's Brian again. Brian says crazy because Ray looked super good last year, right? You're right. Ray did look really good, and Ray Davis looked like he was the third down back uh, for sure for those guys. And that's kind of still been the case to where James Cook he's not getting those passing down situation reps. It's either Ty or it's Ray that's getting those opportunities. So just something that they're seeing in practice. You know. Tim White comes back and he says Vikings. So he's saying, what's the identity for the Vikings?
Um,
I'm
I mean,
not.
this will probably be a better question for our pregame show, but to the Vikings' identity at this point is probably, I mean, it's going to be a grinded out all three phases kind of team.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're going to see. It's not going to be, you know, the this the offense will still continue to make plays when plays are necessary. Hopefully, control the clock a little bit better in time of possession, and be effective. But I don't think you're going to see like a top 10 offense out of this team.
yeah. I think if you're talking about just the Vikings in general, as far as their identity of offense, defense, I think that this team wants to be well known as a balanced offense on the offensive side of the ball. And I think, that Flores defense is unpredictable. If we're looking at, what the identity is, they want to be an unpredictable defense that gets after the quarterback. And Brian Flores blitzes more than any other D coordinator in the league.
Yeah, no doubt.
Roughly 43% of plays, he's setting a blitz. And we saw that be super effective last week versus the Lions. That inside blitz, we weren't really getting to the quarterback a whole lot in previous games. And we saw last week we got 5 sacks, the
Mm.
Minnesota Vikings did in that game. So I say we because we're also on Viking Central talking about these games too. So, but that's one of the things that I think Brian Flores likes to be known for, being unpredictable and getting after the quarterback with blitzes. So balanced offense. You can't get more balanced than 143 yards passing and 142 yards rushing. Obviously, they want to see the passing yards go up for JJ McCarthy, but they want to be able to run the ball. And finally, having a healthy offensive line. I think we saw a little bit more of that last week, but you had Aaron Jones get hurt. We'll see if he's back in the lineup this week or the next. So that's just something to kind of watch, but balance for sure.
No doubt.
We're going to go ahead and jump into, and thanks, Tim, for that. We're going to go ahead and jump into our best bets. Now, I got to say, last week was rough for me. I'll go ahead and start it out. I'm going to take my lumps early. So I started out with a loss with the Vikings and the Lions. And yes, I picked the Lions. And don't come at me. How many people were picking the Lions in this game? All right. Just saying. But I was more than happy to be wrong. Like I said, I would be happier than heck to be wrong on this pick, and I was. So I took a nail there. Kansas City, Buffalo. They just didn't quite get over the 51. It was really close. Denver, Houston. Of course, that one I got a W. They won 18-15. Chargers and the Titans. I thought they would win by at least 10. They only won by 7, 27-20. And then Arizona versus the Cowboys. I thought at home, the Cowboys would be able to pull this out, especially after that really tough game against the Broncos. Coming home, I thought it would be, hey, we're going to get back to our winning ways by just blowing out teams in a track meet on offense. And it was the total opposite. The Cardinals were the ones in the track meet. So Cardinals got that, and man, I went 1-4 last week. So I still have a winning record. I'm 8-7, but it was rough.
I think you need to pick against the Vikings every week.
You know what? If that's what it takes to get W's, I will pick against the Vikings every week if that's the thing. Now, it's funny that you bring that up. So I don't know if you listen to KFAN. I know you live down in Florida, but KFAN and the city's meat sauce, Paul Lambert, he picked the Lions to win. I think like 55-10 or something like that.
Jesus.
And it was somewhat jokingly.
Yeah.
So he picked the Lions to win 55-10 over the Vikings. And then Jonathan Grenard came on the morning show after the Vikings win. And he called out meat sauce because he had used, that was bulletin board material going into that game. And I'm sure that's not like what pumped him up, but still, he pays.
Never know, man.
He pays
Players
enough.
do.
Yeah, well, he pays enough attention to the show to clown him on that pick, and and he told him keep that same energy. So
Yeah. Well, keep that same energy and actually make the tackle on the sack next time.
Yeah, so people called him out on social media for that. He did
I know.
respond and say,
Yeah, I
"I've got to
saw
be
it.
better." W, So that was pretty funny.
There was some good back and forth banter between fans and Vikings players this week on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, because Isaiah Rodgers was trolling everybody on the before the trade deadline.
It's always a little bit easier to do that after a W, though, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. They better still be focused this week.
Now, for Ryan, you had a decent week. You went 3-2. You want to talk about yours?
Yeah, I mean, I caught just a load of scrutiny for taking the under in the Ravens Dolphins Thursday night game, and it wasn't really even close to the over, whatever. But anyway, so that was a nice W. The Colts, I don't think I was alone in thinking that the Colts probably had a good shot to cover that spread against those Steelers. But man, 3 interceptions, I think, by Daniel Jones. Turnovers will kill you, and good for the Steelers, man. They look like a pretty solid team. Bills always beat the Chiefs in the regular season, so I just kind of played the trend there. And sure enough, Josh Allen did what he does against the Chiefs in the regular season. If this was a playoff game, I'd probably bet different. The Seahawks, Commanders. Seahawks look like the real deal. I mean, this wasn't even close. I was over by the first quarter, so that was an easy W. And then the Giants, I guess I expected more out of them. I think because just the number of injuries that San Fran's going through, and I like Jackson Dart a lot. I like what I've seen out of him, and I thought they would put up a bigger fight, and I was wrong. So,
But San Fran has just found a way to win games.
they do,
It,
and they continue to.
and,
Brock
and, and
Purdy
are,
got soft benched, so
right? I was just about to say that.
Oh.
I think it's pretty clear that they want to. It's all. I don't want to say it's quite a Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray type situation that they have going on there because Brock Purdy hasn't been terrible.
No.
But Mac Jones has been good enough to where they want to see where this goes, I think.
That damn turf toe.
Right. That'll get you, right? About the same as a high ankle, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So you're now at 8-7 as well as we get into week 10. And I'm gonna let you roll back to back as you go into your week 10 best bets.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, Panthers 5.5-point favorites. I try to find the last time Panthers were 5.5-point favorites in any game, and then as you're looking for that, go ahead and find the last time the Carolina Panthers not only covered but won at home as a favorite, because I think you got to go back to like 2021 to find that. So I'm playing the trend here. You got to take the Saints with the points going at Carolina. I understand it's Tyler Shug and no more Rashid Shaheed and this, that, and they're not a very good football team. I get all that. I don't think the Panthers are stellar football team either, although they do have a decent record and they've looked good in some games. But they're coming off a high against Green Bay, winning on the road at Lambeau. It has all the recipes for a letdown. That's all. Lions, I think, are going to be focused and fired up, and Commanders are downtrodden after a terrible loss and then losing their quarterback. So this seems like
the third person that they lost. They lost last week. It was McCaffrey, it was Jaden Daniels, and someone else got hurt too last week for them.
Well, are you thinking Luvu was going to be suspended, but he ended up not being suspended? Luvu was going to be suspended because of the hip drop tackles. And then they appealed and they just fined him instead. So he's not suspended. He's going to play.
Yeah, I'll have to look. You keep going though. I'll look. I know Luke McCaffrey, he broke his collarbone, so he's done for the season.
Yeah. I mean, Debo, maybe it was questionable, but I think he's going to play. So he may have tweaked something, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But maybe it's Debo. And then anyway, I like the over New England at Tampa. It's gonna be some nice weather, some good football weather in Tampa, and I just do feel like the over on this game could hit pretty easily. Two very dynamic quarterbacks that can definitely spin the rock and put some points on the board. I see the light bulb went on. Who was it?
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore. He tore his ACL.
Well, I don't.
That's three really big ones.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. You're all you're losing with Lattimore is pass interference calls, so I think you'll be okay. No, that's tough.
But Detroit 8.5. I love
that. Yeah. It seems like a slam dunk. Steelers plus 2.5 at the Chargers. I mean, the Steelers as away underdogs, Mike Tomlin, I don't know. It seems I don't bet against that team when they're underdogs anyway. So I like Steelers to be able to cover that. And again, they did look good And Aaron Rodgers playing pretty good. Then Packers and Philly over. It just seems like it's going to be a fun Monday night football game, Monday night football game. And I do think we're going to see some points being scored in that game.
More than 13 for the Packers, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Eagles got pretty healthy defense. I just,
Mhm.
I don't
They're
know.
better than the Panthers.
I think the Eagles are going to be pretty. I mean, the Packers are going to be fired up after losing to the Panthers. They're going to be focused, and the Eagles coming off a bye, I think. So
How big of a shot is that losing Tucker Kraft? Now, do you think that there's a chance that
Luke
they're okay?
Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave is
Yeah, I mean
the
they drafted both the tight ends at the same draft, and for good reason.
Musgrave was the
They
starter. He
yeah,
got
and
hurt, and then Kraft took his job.
yeah. So I mean, might they lose a beat or two? Yeah, I mean, I just think naturally,
Mhm.
but I think if as far as backup tight ends go, you're in a good spot with Musgrave. So I don't think it's really going to affect. And even though they their receiving core, it's just it's a whole bunch of number twos. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
number twos and threes. There's not like a number one, but there's plenty of weapons there to get the job done. So I do like the over in that game. I think you'll probably see few touchdown passes thrown by each quarterback, or a few touchdowns by each quarterback. I'm sure Hurts will probably push his way into the end zone. So
Gamer girls, and I see your question. We'll get to you. I see yours as well. Mr. Bakes a lot says, "What up, homies?"
what
Um, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Gamer girls, we'll get to your question right after this. If anyone else has any more, go ahead and shoot them in comments on X or YouTube. We'll get to those shortly. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my week 10 best bets. I'm hoping to get back on the winning side of the week with, again, Saints Panthers, but I'm going the other way. I think Panthers at home. Again,
head to head.
Tyler Shoe, they just lost Rashid Shaheed, so no more deep threat. So that takes a little bit of the air out of the Saints on the offensive side of the ball. And then just, hey, Rico Dowdle. So
Rico.
they're at home. I like Carolina in this one. I think that they're going to cover by at least that 5.5 spread. So that's why I chose them. Bills at Dolphins. This feels like, the Dolphins just, we got rid of Jalen Phillips here over the weekend, or sorry, over the deadline. I apologize, on Tuesday. So that was big. You got rid of a young star there. I just like the Buffalo Bills. They were cooking last week. I feel like this is at least a 10-point victory for them in this one. And that's why I went with the Bills. The Lions, I think they have a bounce back. We talked about all the injuries for the Washington Commanders. Those are huge. Not to mention um, Terry McLaurin right now. I think he is possibly still dealing with that quadriceps injury too. So that's still questionable whether they get Jazan Newton back, or even Laramie Tunsil is dealing with a hamstring injury. So they have a lot of injuries that they're dealing with right now with the Commanders. So this just feels like a blowout for the Detroit Lions. So I feel like that's an easy one. Steelers at Chargers. I didn't like picking this game. I know early on I said I was kind of picking the Chargers in this one, but I don't like either of these teams picking in this game, but I do like the over. I do feel like this is going to be an over type game. So I'm taking the over 44.5. And then my last one, Jaguars at Texans. Davis Mills starting for the Houston Texans. I think the Jaguars are going to go in there and be able to at least win the game. If they win the game, hopefully it's by more than one. And if that's the case,
They can lose by one.
They could, but I think
If they lose by one, you still cover. So
I think they're going to win the game. So I don't think if they lose this game, wow, this isn't one that you want to drop when you don't even have to face CJ Stroud. I know Davis Mills is a capable backup, but he did not look good last week, and the Jaguars should be able to go in there and do enough to win this game. Now they did make a trade on the trade deadline, and who was it that they just brought in now? A wide
Who, the
receiver.
Jaguars?
Yes, at wide receiver, and I'm just trying to think what deal they made.
Wait, was that the Jacoby Myers? Wait, where did Jacoby Myers go? I can't keep all this
Uh,
track. Okay. Um, yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
was
I
it
know because Brian. It looks like Brian Thomas might miss some
Jacoby
time.
Myers? That's it. That's
Yeah,
what I got. I was gonna
Brian
say I knew
Thomas
that they
might.
just brought in somebody.
Brian Thomas might miss some time, and Hunter's still out. He's on IR, so yeah,
Yep.
they need some receiver help for sure.
So Jacoby Myers comes in. I think this is kind of a Travis Etienne type of game for them, but I got the Jaguars winning on this one, or at least covering that 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, I'm still on the winning side of things. Now, getting back to your guys' questions, the one that I said I was going to cover, Gamer Girl, she says she's got CeeDee Lamb, Brees, and Baker for a trade for Saquon and Drake London. I don't need Baker. So it's, for the most part, she's getting rid of CeeDee Lamb and Brees for Saquon and London.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're also you may not need Baker, but you're getting rid of Baker, which will make that team better.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to compete against that team also. So that's something to always think about.
I mean, I'll be honest. The way that this season has gone so far, Brees has been better than Saquon in rushing yards and in fantasy points because of what he gets in receptions.
Yeah.
So Brees has been better fantasy wise than Saquon, and I like CeeDee Lamb better, and I like Drake London.
I mean, I definitely like CD better than London. London's been turning it on late, as of late, for sure, especially in the red zone. But I mean, going forward the rest of the year, I definitely like Saquon better than I like Brees Hall, especially after the whole
Well,
trade
yeah,
debacle.
there is that, right?
And so I don't know. We might be seeing a lot more Braylon Allen out of the backfield for the Jets.
Is he back?
I mean, I don't think
healthy?
you need to make the trade, but but
I don't even think Braylon Allen's healthy. Isaiah Davis is
oh
the
yeah, it's
right
Isaiah.
now.
Yeah, you're right. It's Davis. I
I just
don't
think
know.
the
That's a
Jets are going to be
tough one. I
trailing in
think
a lot of games, and I think Brees is going to see a lot of,
true.
of catches out of the backfield. So if you're in a half PPR or a PPR type league, I mean, Brees is more valuable than Saquon, in my opinion.
I don't. As of right now, I do think that Saquon's going to carry the load here as we go down the stretch with how competitive the NFC is, and the Eagles are going to be in a dogfight every game the rest of the year. So, I mean, I like Saquon for the long haul. I think if your playoff lineup includes Saquon Barkley over Brees Hall, I think you got a better chance at winning your championship just because he's that much more dynamic and that much better of
If
a back.
Saquon gets going,
I think he will, though.
he's had
I mean,
one
he's
game.
too good, dude.
He's had one game. Other than
Well,
that, he's been
week
averaging
one, he was good
50 yards a
too.
game.
Yeah, I know. Week one, he was good.
We're in week 10.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not a very good average. So hopefully it gets better. I mean, I like your logic of thinking. That's just again PPR. I like Brees as long as he's healthy. That's just where I'm at.
I mean, I don't think playoffs is all I'm thinking. I understand it. You're kind of taking them based on what the potential is, but we know what Brees Hall potential is. Like he's at peak potential.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not going to get any better. Saquon has the opportunity to be way better. So that's all.
That is true.
And if you're thinking about making a trade, I assume that you're probably doing okay on the season, but you may not be in first place. and you want to try to get there, you got to kind of take some shots. And I don't know. I kind of like it. Like, look, it's either going to make or break your season. There's no doubt about it.
Gamer girls, who else do you have on your team for wide receiver and running back? That might help make the decision as well too. You don't need Baker, but who else do you have for running back and wide receiver? That might help. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is going to get at least 10 targets a game.
Yeah, I mean,
Bryce says, fellas, what's up? We taking Knicks or May this week? Knicks has the potential of blowing up, but May feels like he's going to get you 250 a game, and he's going to rush for 30, 50 yards and maybe a score.
Yeah, I like May. May just
feels like he's solid every week.
Yeah,
he's going to get you solid points every week.
I will never be a believer. I don't like Bo Nix at all.
I think Bo Nix, at times, he like in that Giants game, he scored 39, but he was, and I'm sure I'm going to hear this from somebody, but he was 3 quarters and change of suck before he turned it on. And yes, you can
Sounds
say
like someone
JJ,
else,
right? Right. So, but
that's
if he doesn't have some fluke type plays that happened in that Giants game, he's not scoring 39.
I watched him so much at Auburn before he went to Oregon. He was the same quarterback in college. He just runs around like a wild man, and every once in a while makes a crazy good play. But he also makes a lot of really dumb plays. I don't know. I don't
just think if he didn't have that really awesome Denver defense that was putting him in really good position, field position, or getting turnovers a lot.
Yeah, give me Drake May all day. I'm also a huge Drake May fan, so it's like it's hard for me to even take the bias out of it.
Now, he did say this week, so.
I know. I understand. I think Drake May could be playing the steel curtain defense from the Steelers in the 70s, and Bo Nix could be playing Ed Donatel defense, and I'll still probably take Drake May just because I like him that much more.
They had to turn it on really late to beat a Houston team that lost CJ Stroud early in the game last week, and had to really work hard to tie it up late in the game and then walk it off with the Will Lutz field goal.
Yeah.
That was just a really sad showing last week. Now they're in a divisional game against the Raiders that are kind of showing some signs of life. I think the defense is going to do their part. Whether or not Nix does, again, it's a coin flip.
I think you'll be a lot less stressed if you take May than Nix. You'll be just watching Bo Nix going, "What the fuck?"
That's an excellent way of putting it, Ryan. Yes, the stress. You can set it and forget it with Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. With that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into our ultimate lineup. Now, this was one where, yes, I felt decent, but man, that was a hell of a lineup that Ryan had, and he went in and he got it done. Now,
finally,
I did not have.
Don't call it a comeback.
Well, we're not. You're 1-4.
Don't call it a comeback.
But yeah, your kicker and your defense definitely got it done. Brock Bowers, was a killer. Josh Allen with big games for you as well too. I mean, Puka Nacua could have had an even bigger game if he didn't get hurt for you. I had big games, but
what a just absolute dud of running back lineup I had. I mean, I had Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bijan Robinson combined for 24, 5 points, something like that. Come on. That was unbelievable. But thankfully, Brock Bowers said, "You know what, guys, I'll put the team on my back and I'll carry us to the promised land." Him and the Rams defense pretty good. So that helped a lot.
Defense was good. Will Reichard getting you 11 was huge too.
Will the drill.
So
It seems like he kicks a 50-yarder every game.
So I take the loss. You get your first win. Could this be a start of the run for Ryan? We'll see. But I hope it's not. But that was a good win for you. So now this week going into it, um, I got to
running
pick
it back.
first this time. Now Ryan and I talked about this, and I think for next week's show, we're gonna try to actually do our draft live with you guys, and you guys can kind of clown us on our picks. I think the interesting thing is this is really exciting. So today I actually had one of my buddies, Jake. Yeah, he was kind of watching with me as Ryan and I were texting back and forth, and we were doing our ultimate lineup. And it's just exciting because
You
uh,
lose 1 week and you have to bring in reinforcement for advice.
not advice, but it was fun for him to watch because as we were going back and forth, I was kind of rattling off who I thought Ryan would pick, and sure enough, he would pick it, and we're strategizing because Ryan's trying to pick based on what he thinks I'm going to do, and vice versa. So you
Mhm.
guys will get to see that live. So this is what we went with this week. So I got the first pick. Um, and it's not necessarily because I like the matchup. It's because CMC is always going to get his receptions no matter what, which makes him super valuable. This week going against the Rams, which they're a high-powered offense, they could be playing catch up. So I think CMC is a good pick for me. So I went ahead and took him first. Ryan, who did you go with first on this one?
Jonathan Taylor.
I think you actually went Gibbs.
Did I go Gibbs first?
I think you went Gibbs first.
Yeah, you might be right.
So
Yeah, I
you took
think you're right.
Yeah, so you took Gibbs first, and I came
Yep.
back with JSN, and then you went Taylor.
Then I
I
went Taylor.
Yeah, I took Nakua, and then I think you went Brock Bowers next.
Yep.
So Brock Bowers was money for you last week. I hope he's not money for you this week.
I mean, who else? Who else are they going to throw the ball to?
Um, man,
Trey Tucker.
Trey
That's it.
Tucker,
That's
yeah.
it. And what?
Bach
Uh,
that's on that team, and
uh,
um,
Betch, and then
Lockett. They got
yeah,
Tyler
Lockett.
Lockett. Yeah,
Lockett. Yeah,
Tyler
get out
Lockett
of
on
here.
that team.
Yeah.
Could
Jeez.
That would be funny if we saw the revival of Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett.
He's a year removed. Um, is it a year? Yeah, a year removed from still being a very capable. But I think he's what is he 33 now, 32 or
I,
33.
I don't know. Him and Thielen, they
So
can hang
he's
it up.
maybe lost a step. So just a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see what it goes. How it goes. So this week I had Matt Stafford. I just think he's going to be a beast this week.
Mhm.
I mean, as long as Puka is healthy, I like that matchup with Puka, and of course you got Devonte Adams on that team too. I just think he's going to at least be good for 3 touchdowns passing in any game. And then my hidden beast that I was hoping you didn't pick was Rico Dowdle. I think
Mhm.
Rico is just gonna go off and have himself a day against the New Orleans Saints. Um, like I said, I got Nakua. Hopefully he's good to go. Trey McBride. I got Achan, and a lot of that had to do with just basically where everything fell for me. You scooped up Gibbs, Taylor, and you
And
had
Cook.
Cook, and I really wanted Cook.
Yeah.
Um, I think that could be one for you too. But I went with Achan. They're going to be playing some catch up. Dicker, and of course the Browns versus the Jets. Even if they don't hold them down to a lot of points, I think they're going to get at least enough points off of sacks to make it worth my while.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I took all 3 running backs and a tight end before I took a wide receiver. So yeah, I kind of loaded up on running back. That was on purpose.
That's a
But
bold
yeah,
move, Cotton.
yeah, bold move. Yeah. I'm just like, there's no way Gibbs and Taylor had back-to-back crappy weeks, right? Um, famous last words. So we'll see. And Jefferson, I mean, Jettas, he's due, and the Ravens secondary isn't very good. AJ Brown, who I noticed didn't even crack your top 15, but that's cool, man. Whatever. I like him this week against Green Bay. I know Green Bay has pretty decent defense with pretty good safeties, but I do think just because of what
I like Devontae Smith in that game better than I like AJ Brown.
That's okay. I mean, you can be wrong. And so I think he's getting a lot of targets, especially
Sure.
with all the media and everything that's been
Maybe.
made
Trade talk.
about all the nonsense. And I don't know. I like the big receiver in the red zone too. So
Sure.
I think AJ Brown has a pretty big game. So, and then McLaughlin's been a solid kicker all year.
Yep.
And if I'm going to take the over in that game, I might as well take the kicker in that game and double down. And then Broncos defense has a pretty good matchup this week. So they felt like an easy pick for me.
It was a coin flip for me between the Browns and the Broncos. The only thing that scared me away from the Broncos in being my number one defense, because I did pick a defense before you picked yours and I picked the Browns. And the only reason I did it was just, Geno has been showing a little bit of life as of late. And apparently
probably because Brock Bowers is back.
Somebody passed him a note that, hey, I'm back on the team. And he was able to locate him with a GPS and throw him a few balls. I think he got, 13 targets, I think, last week.
Yeah,
13 or 14 targets.
It was definitely double digits.
I think 12 catches. 12 catches for 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's
3 tutties. That overtime touchdown. Hey, that game doesn't go in overtime. I'm not sure I'd pull off the dub against you.
You don't.
Thank goodness.
You don't. So that was big too. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, Broncos are a good defense, but I don't think that there's any way Brock Bowers gets, shut out. He's gonna. I'm not saying he's gonna get a touchdown, but he's gonna get like a, at least a solid 7-8 receptions for 80-yard type game. That's what I feel. At least I'm saying at minimum. Yeah. It feels like that type of a game for him. Like we said and talked about, no Jacoby Myers. Who the hell are you going to throw the ball to? So now on the flip side of that, if I'm the Broncos, you damn well better be trying to cover double team Brock Bowers this week if you're a defensive scheming, because you got Gente to stop and Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, like the secret's out on him, and the secret was out midway through last year, and he still dominated. So he's just that good. He's just that good. I know. I'm a Gators fan. I remember he used to just destroy us every year. He went to Georgia.
We'll see what happens. There was one or two. I know there was a couple penalty, or at least one that there's a penalty, and another that was an almost touchdown from Trey McBride last week. He has kind of been a rock star since Jacoby Brissett has came in with Kyler Murray. I mean, yeah, he was still getting targets and catches, but he definitely wasn't putting up numbers like he has been with Brissett or the touchdowns.
He's a beast.
So Brissett has been really good for Trey McBride owners for sure.
Low key, I know he didn't make your list either, but I do kind of like Loveland. I do kind of love me some Loveland this week. I just think that Caleb, like what he showed out, and he's been getting more and more involved every week. And with Komet out last week, I think he really kind of
number 11.
Oh, he didn't make your list. All right, I apologize. I take it back.
Oh, wrong one.
I just thought you hated all the guys I liked this week. I apologize.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I like them, but don't love them.
Right. That's fine. You like him, but you don't love Land.
I don't love Land him.
But you not an AJ Brown fan this week, which is fine. That's cool.
I just that's one of those matchups where I just had other. You know what? We can pull that one up here real quick too.
As a Vikings fan, I don't even care who wins that game, to be honest. I
I
hate
mean,
both teams.
when I take a look, yeah, it could be fair to put him in somewhere uh, outside of the top 10. But inside the top 10, I like all those receivers better than I like AJ Brown this week.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like him more than I like uh, McMillan or
Yeah, outside of the top 10. Drake London,
I don't know,
I
man.
just don't like the Drake London matchup.
I think I
Now
like
that
him. I think I like him more than Olave and more than Marvin Harrison
I just feel like Olave is going to get.
and more than Lad McConkey. Get out of here.
I think Olave, this is almost like the Brock Bowers type situation.
Yeah,
Other than Johnson at tight end, who the hell are you going to throw the ball to now that you got rid of Shaheed? So Olave,
I
I think
understand.
is going to get. He's going to get peppered with targets. Not saying that he's going to turn that into anything special, but he's at least going to get the target share with the potential,
Hmm.
especially in a half PPR scenario, which is what this is based off of.
You just really like Ohio State receivers,
I
except Ibuka. You didn't like him this week.
I didn't like Ibuka this week, and for some reason, it seems like they've kind of been down. And I don't know if like, hey, the book is out on what Ibuka does and how to scheme for him. It does hurt that you don't have Mike Evans in the lineup,
Or
and you can kind
Godwin,
of or Godwin, you can kind of double team or
or
cover Ibuka differently.
who's the other who hasn't played this year?
Um,
Out of TCU, I think McMillan or something.
McMillan, I think, yeah. And then so you got like Tez Johnson, that's
Who weighs as much as my right thigh?
K Dodden at tight end is
Yeah.
another wide receiver or tight end
No,
target.
I get it, but Beggar's a beast.
So I do like. I just feel like this is about time for a Cam Sutton type game, Cortland Sutton type game, um, where he gets his versus a seemingly open Las Vegas
Yeah,
secondary. McMillan, I just
we'll
feel like
see.
this is one of those games where you know
Oh, I would love it. I got him on a fantasy league, so I would love if he had a good big week.
So I am going to give him a shout out. So this is kind of funny. So my friend Jake that I told you about,
Hmm.
he plays me this week in Dynasty, and he loves the fact that I have a lot of his players on my ultimate lineup, which
He's like, shit.
I already know I'm 8-1 in that Dynasty league. I'm in first place, but I'm about to get blasted this week. He's projected to totally roast me this week, and he's got Matt Stafford. He's got CMC. He's got JSN. He's got Trey McBride, and he has
Nice.
A Chain on his team. I am in trouble.
Well,
Uh,
I hope you wax him
well, I know
because
you
that'll
do,
mean I wax you.
I, and that's exactly what I told him. I told him I already know I'm about to get belt to butt this week. So if I'm going to get the belt to the A, I would just rather
Beat me.
absolutely get blown out. That way I can beat Ryan.
And beat me in our made up league that has no monetary value to it.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'll take one for the team.
Surprise. Let's go.
So now we do have a question out here from Mr. Bakes a lot. He says, would you ride the Jackson Dart train
Pause. That's a
yeah,
good use of a pause.
or get off while his value is high? What
So
would
it
you
must be
trade
dynasty.
for? He said trade for in redraft or dynasty. Um, so I wouldn't say so if it's in a redraft or so, especially in a dynasty. I would stay on that train because one, Cam, he's going to have Neighbors and Scatabo back next year. I don't think that they're when he had both of those. Well, Neighbors got hurt about the time he came onto the
Mhm.
scene, but still, I think I would stay on it. I like what's going on with Wandale Robinson. I think that's a really good, nice receiver for him as well too. I feel like he's getting some chemistry with this tight end that he has there too. And when Scadabo's back,
Theo
um,
Johnson.
yep. So I just feel like he's got some weapons to work with Jackson Dart. So if anything, he's a bench play. And if you're in a dynasty league that has a taxi squad, you can always taxi squad him for a year or two if you need to, and see how that works out, depending on who else you have for quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if when you say trade, what would you trade for in a redraft or dynasty? Are you saying what would you give up to get him, or what would it take for someone to take him away from you? I mean, I think his value in a dynasty league is probably a first round pick and the following year's second round pick. I would say that would probably be enough to get Jackson Dart at this point. Um,
I feel like his
maybe
his his
two first,
value.
maybe two first, but
I think his value kind of dipped here now a little bit again.
yeah, he's kind of
Uh,
he's
so
on
it's
a
up here. I don't want to say it's way down, but I
yeah,
feel like it took a little bit of a dip. But again, if people are seeing things clearly, if you're in a dynasty or a redraft,
yeah.
um, you should know that he's going to have Neighbors back next year, and he's going to have Scatabo back as well. And
Hmm.
if I'm the Giants, and you know that you possibly have something in Jackson Dart, I'm probably going to look to put another weapon around him too, if I can, and either bring in another capable wide receiver or
Hmm.
possibly a tight end. You know,
It'll be
uh,
interesting because I don't know.
Njoku.
Hmm.
Njoku could be one that's had trade deadline. I'm actually surprised that Njoku's still at the Browns.
Hmm.
But I think in the offseason, they want to roll with Fannin, and I think Njoku is one of those players that could look nice in the Giants uniform.
Yeah, I think also, you know, I if you have him, I certainly would hold on to him through this year. Um, I think I don't think Dable's there next year, so it'll be interesting to see who they bring in for a head coach. So I think that'll play a factor as well. But um, let's kind of wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, when you're talking like trade for, like, do you have Jackson Dart or are you trying to trade for Jackson Dart?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
And there's just a lot of questions for that because
Mm.
if you have Jackson Dart, it's well, who else do you have at quarterback? Um, we'd have to see what your roster looks like, but you know, um,
I love him in super flex leagues, though. He's
yeah, he's any dynasty league. I mean, he's one that you want to stash. Especially, and it depends what year you're in, of course, with your dynasty. But if
mhm.
you're early on in your dynasty, you're absolutely keeping Jackson Dart. Uh, and if anybody that's in a dynasty league with me right now, you're probably chuckling because um, I'm in a little bit of a quarterback situation where, um,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I'm 8-1, but the best quarterback move I've made so far this year is picking up Joe Flacco when he was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. So
Hey, the thing he had like 30-something points last week or something. So
I can't win. I got quarterbacks on IR. I have quarterbacks losing their job, i.e., Kyler Murray slash Justin Fields possibly starting for me this week on a Joe
Davis Mills.
Flacco bye week.
So Davis
So,
Mills week.
man, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Sounds like it.
So, I got CJ Stroud that's hurt. So, yeah, that's not a strong position for me right now in my dynasty league.
No, that sounds terrible.
So I am one that is also trying to make a trade.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as other Week 10 injuries, just to talk about. So, like I talked about before, we know that Washington is absolutely getting
Decimated.
killed. We talked about James Cook possibly not playing. He's questionable right now with that ankle injury. We did talk about Luke McCaffrey, broke his collarbone. He's done for the season. We talked about Jaden Daniels. He dislocated his elbow. I mean, he's for sure out, and possibly the rest of the season for Jaden Daniels. What else? Offensively, I mean, we know we talked about Marshawn Lattimore too, but
Yeah.
for that
I
defense.
mean,
But
it's something to monitor. I don't think it's going to hinder him, but Saquon does still have an injury designation. And they're saying that he's likely going to play. So
AJ
I don't
Brown
think
is
it's.
questionable.
Yeah, I know he is. Hey, I got guys. I'll sub someone in if I need to. Cook and AJ Brown. They're both questionable. I might have to sub them in for someone else, and that's okay. I mean, I already know who I'm going to pick if AJ Brown doesn't play.
So this will be interesting. So what happens if Puka doesn't play and AJ Brown doesn't play?
Like who gets to pick between us first?
Yeah.
I mean, who had last pick? I did. So
You
I
did.
guess you get to choose first. You should have to say it right now. Because they're both receivers, you might as well.
I mean,
I guess it doesn't matter. Well, what do you have on your roster? 3 receivers,
we'll see, because I could. No, I would
no?
have
You
to
have
go.
3 running backs. You have to pick a
I have
receiver.
to pick a receiver
So go ahead.
right now.
Yeah. We're live on air.
Wow. Well, let's take a look at receivers. Well, I will go with. I would actually like to go with Jalen Waddle.
All right, and I was gonna go St. Brown anyway,
So you can have Sam Brown. I like the Waddle matchup because I just think that they're going to have to force feed him a lot of targets in that one.
There you go.
Now I did rank St. Brown higher, so I probably should have went with the guy ranked higher. I just feel like that could be one of those games that gets blown out, and it could be a Jahmyr Gibbs type of game, which you also have on your lineup. So that one could be done by midway third quarter.
Yeah.
Or even halftime.
Sometimes you just gotta go by feel.
Like the Seahawks, you could throw 4 touchdowns like Sam Darnold in the first half.
I mean, I see where you're coming at because I think Jalen Waddle does give you more of a like potential, I guess. You know what St. Brown's going to be usually like 130 yards on 8-9 catches and maybe a touchdown, That's pretty much St. Brown's MO right there.
Yeah.
But Waddle could have like 3 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns through the first half.
Yeah. Now most people would think, well, if Puka's hurt, why wouldn't you go Devontae Adams? Now, I think if Nakua's not there and it's just Devontae, I think they're gonna absolutely double the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at. Now you can say the same thing with Waddle, but Waddle runs a lot of slot routes as well.
Yeah, they play a lot of zone against Miami, because it's really easy to trick Tua into throwing the ball to a linebacker. So no reason to play man. He's going to throw it to you.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for that. So I don't see any other questions that are out there. Is there anything else you want to talk about fantasy wise for week 10?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, again, you saw our best bets. If you didn't, make sure that you're following us because I'm going to go ahead and post our charts and our best bets throughout the week before tomorrow night's football game. That way, if you are looking to just see what we have, and again, this is who we're betting on. We're not telling you who to bet on. So again, we like to do this for fun. Those are our bets, and that's just who we like this week. So if you have a gambling problem, it's not our problem. That's who we're betting on. We're not telling you to do it.
Is it 1-800 or 188 admit it?
Um, well, if I had a gambling problem, I might know that number, but
Whatever, dude. It's only a problem if you lose.
uh, good stuff. All right. Well, for the Fantasy 15, again, make sure that you're following us. If you'd like to watch us on Spotify, we'll go ahead and we'll upload this as well. But Ryan, thanks again for joining me on the show and hopefully not beating me for 2 weeks in a row on the ultimate lineup. But thanks again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Don't call it a comeback.
Thank you again to everyone else that added questions and comments out there on X and YouTube. Thanks for following and thanks for watching us. Make sure that you subscribe and follow us. And until next time, we do this on every Wednesday throughout the NFL season. Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. I'll be here. Ryan will be here, here to answer your questions. So again, Fantasy 15, we're your source for fantasy football. Good luck, everyone. We'll catch you next week.